Okay guys, so sometime you would go on eBay and purchase a set of these batteries, right? And the seller says they are new, and they look new actually, but how can you tell exactly if they are new or not? Very simple way, and I just want to show you how you can tell with basic meters how much capacity these batteries have. Okay, you might have a scenario that okay, you're gonna buy 4 of these and they look new, you're happy with it, you will use them, fine. That's not my scenario. I buy 4 of these and if they test good, I'm gonna buy more because I need more, right? And so far I can tell you I run into so many scams with these batteries. I would say 95% of the people who sell these batteries on eBay are liars. Okay, so this I just purchased yesterday, or it came yesterday, and they look new. They don't even have a tread lock as you do in the terminals, and they look really nice. But I know that these are not made anymore. So how is it possible they are new? That's one thing. Another thing that threw me off a little bit was the sequence number here. They gave me 3 batteries in a sequence, and one was out of the sequence. 55-1, and this is 63, 35, 34, and 36. Okay, so these 3 are from the same batch, same bin. This one is not. But according to the serial number, it's very close to these. So I call the seller and they assure me that this one is from the same batch, but not from the same bin. So anyway, so I want to show you first how to discharge them. Okay, I would really strongly recommend attaching BMS to this, even when you're recharging them, because if they are not balanced, and you don't have to balance them at this point, if they are not balanced, you're going to discharge one lower and maybe 3 of them will stay higher, and this auto shut off, it's a Victron Smart Battery Protect, will not help you. Even though I have it set for 12 volts, so it will shut off at 12 volts, it will not help you, because if this cell is gonna run low, if they are not balanced, this cell will run low. It could go below 10 volts easy. Okay, these can stay above 12, and this one will start running down like a crazy, because at that point there is no capacity left at this cell. So I would strongly recommend to attach BMS, unless you want to monitor them very closely. Okay, and then you would just take these bulbs. Those are 12 volts. I believe they call MR16. They are 12 volts, 50 watts, halogen, not LEDs. Okay, halogen or anything but LEDs, pretty much the old-fashioned. And I got 3 of these in parallel just to make it a little faster. And I have actually another set that I attached to it. So each of these bulbs is drawing 4.3 amps. So altogether is going to be a little bit over 12 amps. Okay, and I can show you that. And pretty much I will plug this in or attach it right here, and then attach the bulbs right here, of course voltmeter. And this is what I would do. I would just start discharging the batteries down to 12 volts. Okay, and I can show you on the amp meter what we're drawing here. 12.3 amps. Okay, And if you attach another set, it's going to be 24 amps altogether. But let me just shut this off because it's blinding right now. So that's how I would discharge them down to 12 volts. You could connect them in parallel and discharge them down to 12 volts, but then there is no way to monitor it with this puppy here, or with BMS for that matter. You would just have to have some kind of device that will perfectly discharge it to 3 volts, and then, or you would have to really closely monitor this. Okay, so that's kind of not an easy test to do. This is the easiest way to do that. This is for discharging the cells. So I'm going to discharge them to 12 volts, and then I'm going to balance them. Usually I balance them overnight to have them nice and balanced, bottom balance. Okay, because you want to know, number one, you want to know the capacity of the cells, and you want to know how well they are matched, and we'll get to it. So here we go, discharging down to 12 volts. And then you would have to balance them. Okay, I usually let them sit overnight to balance them properly, just because it takes a little time. And if you want to test them, then I want to bottom balance them really good. And also, as you're balancing them, you can still keep discharging them if the voltage will jump up a little bit, because while you're discharging them before and then you disconnect the load, they will gain a little bit voltage. Okay, the voltage will come up again. When it came up to 3.1 something, so I decided to take it a little more down. So I attached the same bulbs and discharging them for about maybe half an hour, maybe 1 hour. But you do need to monitor them closely, okay, because this is going to go pretty fast, and it really depends on the type of the load, but it could go really fast because at this point they don't have much capacity left at this voltage, and you don't want to discharge them too low. So 3 volts would be minimum that I would go, and it's getting pretty close. You know, it's about 3 volts. Well, I see that I have, which doesn't really matter, but just to make it perfect, about like this. Okay, I have it at 3 volts, 0.45. So this is really good. I'm gonna disconnect the load and connect them back together and start charging them. Okay. Okay, guys. So now to the charging these batteries. Okay. So we know they are discharged almost to 12 volts. You know, it's 12 and some little teeny tiny change. So that's good. So we know they are discharged to 10%. Okay, so you got 10% capacity left. And this is a 20 amp charger. It actually charges exactly 21.6 or so, but we will measure that. And it's not turned on yet. And I'm gonna have attached this little meter here, which are very inexpensive meters, and they are really good too. They work very well. And this meter will tell me how many amp hours I'm charging the battery, but you don't even need that. All you need is a timer, which every cell phone has a timer, right? We're gonna go in the timer. Actually, not the timer. We're gonna go, I guess, stopwatch. And we're gonna start charging and turn on the stopwatch. Okay, at the same time. So, I'm gonna turn this on first and start the timer or whatever, stopwatch. Now, let's see how many amps we charging. We're charging 20.5 amps. Okay, so that's pretty close to 20. 20.6. Okay. So I would need a calculator for this, but we know if we're charging 20.6 amps and we're gonna charge it for 10 hours, we're gonna charge it to 206 amp hours, right? We just multiply the hours with the amps. If you're gonna charge it 10 amps for 10 hours, you're gonna get 100 amp hours. Okay, so that's why we need the timer. If you don't have this little puppy here, and pretty much charge these if they are these supposed to be 180 amp hours. So number one, this is set to 14 volts. Okay, you don't want to go much over 14 volts because there is not much capacity left anyway. Okay, and at 14 volts you should be at 180 amps. If this is a new battery, you should get 190 amp hours out of it. Okay, so you should be at 14 volts, you should be at 180 amp hours easy. So, and I would, one more thing, I would strongly recommend to attach the BMS to it and the balancer. Okay, but I am not going to attach the balancer because I want to see the difference in capacity of these cells. Otherwise the balancer will balance the cells and I don't need that at this point. I bottom balance these cells when they get up to the top, and if they are matched nicely, they will be balanced even at the top, which is not always or almost never the truth, but they should be very close. Okay, so the point here is attach the BMS, definitely, then set the voltage without the load on the charger to 14 volts, which is just the little teeny tiny, I guess they call it worm screw, I don't know. Right here you can set the voltage to 14. Still, I would monitor them very closely, like every couple hours at least, you know, at the beginning, and monitor each and every cell. Make sure they getting charged evenly, okay, and then attach the balancer too. So, well, yeah, the point is here that you can do this even without a meter. If you just have some amp meter that will tell you how many amps you're charging, which is, okay, right now it's 20.8, but it doesn't have to be like exactly perfect, you know, let's say 20 amps or 21 amps. If it's close to 180 when I get there, I'll be happy. Okay, so we're not gonna play with some Minnie Mouse here, you know, plus minus 1 amp or 2 amps. So that's the point. So if this is 180 amp hours, then all right. Let me get the calculator here, and we charging, let's say 21 amps. 180 divided 21. It will be 8 hours and half roughly. Okay. So in 8.5 hours, you should be at 180. And if you're not there, I mean, you should be at 14 volts, let's put it that way, and 180. If you're not there, if you are below 14 volts, that means that these are more than 180 amps. If you get there sooner, let's say in 8 hours, that's very little different. I wouldn't worry about that. But if you're going to get to 14 volts, let's say in 6 hours or 7 hours, that means that these batteries are much lower capacity. And again, you can calculate it here, because if you're going to get there in 6 hours, you're going to have 6 times 21. That means there are only 126 amp hours. Okay? If you're going to get there in 7 hours to 14 volts, that means 7 times 21. There are 147 amp hours. Okay? And you can calculate it like that. That's very easy, very simple. So anyway, I think I don't know, I might probably add a little chapter when I get close to the full voltage, but for now you should know how to check the capacity of the cells. And most likely, if they are new, they should be balanced, and if they are not, let's say they are used, okay, they will not be balanced. I'm 100% sure they cannot be possibly balanced. The one that is running highest, okay, so let's put it this way. I don't have a room here right now, but let me see if I can do this. I hope I'm in the picture with that meter. Yes, kind of. So I'm gonna check, so let's see. I've been running this for a few minutes, so it's not gonna be much different, but 318, 317, 317, and 317. And this one's going to be a little more on the plus, but not much. So right now they are very well balanced, but let's say one of them will jump up to 3.5, this one's going to be 3.4, and this one's going to be 3.5. That means that this one is lower capacity than this one. The higher capacity will take longer to charge to get to the 3.5 volts. Okay. I hope I'm explaining this. I mean, I'm making this understandable, because for me it's a common sense. It's kind of hard to explain, you know, to break it down in little details. So that's it for now. All right. Okay, so we are approaching very close to 1 hour here. Okay, as you can see on the timer. And according to the calculation, in 1 hour the battery should be charged to 20 point something amps. I mean, should have taken charge of 20.5 or 20.6, because that's what the meter said before, right? Be charging about 20.6 amps. So right now it's 1 hour. I hope you can see that. And let's check the meter just to kind of prove the point here. And on the meter we have 20.8. I don't know if you can see it, but I will try to zoom here. Well, I cannot move the meter that much, but I hope you can see it. It's in this right corner here on top. Now just turned 21. Okay, so that's right in almost not in the ballpark. That's pretty much perfect. So let's just let it sit, and I'll get back to you soon. So it's been 5 hours, okay, since I start charging these batteries. And in the meantime, this little device here failed me. When I came here, it was not actually registering the amperage right here. It shows me how many amps it's charging, 20.7. There was nothing on it, so I don't know how long was not registering, but according to the amp hours here, it was probably about 50 minutes, okay, because we got only 81.7 amp hours here. But we know we've been charging for 5 hours straight, and the charger is working, and we charging roughly about 21 amps. So if we charging 21 amps for 5 hours, that would give me 105 amp hours. Okay, so this battery right now is charged to 105 amp hours, and we can check the voltage. Actually, that might be a good idea. At this point, you might want to start monitoring the voltage, since actually, let me get the other one. It's going to be easier, since we're getting close to the end. So this one is 3.354. Okay, let's jump on the other one. 349. So that's very close. 345. That's still good. Hold on. Yeah. 347. So that's really good actually. It seems like these cells are very well matched. Okay, let's see. So it's 4.7 on this one, 4.5 on this one, 4.9 on this one, and 5.4, 5.5 on this one. So I did notice that this one, being on the positive side, always charges a little bit more, just slightly. But I think if I disconnect the charger, if I shut it off, and I don't want to do it right now because I would interrupt the time, it will probably go down to the 4.7, 4.8. So far these cells are in a really good shape. Now, once you're gonna get close to 3.5, let's say 3.455 or something like that, you really want to start monitoring them. But if they are in balance at that point, and this is set to 14 volts, this will shut off at 14 volts, okay, then there is no problem. But still, since I don't have the BMS on it, I still will monitor them once it gets to 3.450 or something like that. I definitely want to monitor them closely. Okay, for now. Okay guys, so we are very close to 8 hours right now, and let's see. Yeah, exactly 21 amps, 21.1. So we're charging at 21 amps for 8 hours. So that would give us 8 hours and 21 amps. That would give us 168 amp hours. Okay, So these cells right now are charged to 168 amp hours. And I'm gonna stop the timer. Okay, this doesn't work. So let's stop this at 8 hours. And let's stop the charger too. Okay. It's 10 o'clock at night, and I kind of want to give up on this for today. But in the meantime, let's see what we have here. So the first cell is charged to 3.371. Okay. The second cell, 364. 363 and 361. So this one was the highest one, I guess. 364, yeah. Okay, and that's normal. But this is very, very close. And I can tell you, if we feed these cells 168 amp hours already, and they are at this voltage, that these will take 180, but I will get to it tomorrow. Okay, we will completely charge them to full, to 14 volts. Well, let's see what is the voltage on the whole set. It's 13.4 right now. Okay. So they are not even 13.6, because that's when the capacity pretty much that's like the border for the capacity of the battery. When you reach 13.6 and you go over that point, then the batteries will just not have any more capacity after that point. And they will just, the voltage will just rise quite kind of quickly, kind of fast. But at this voltage, there is still plenty of capacity left. I bet you they will get probably close to 190, or definitely over 180. So I can already tell right now that these are new cells, never charged, never used. Okay, but let's get back to it tomorrow. Alright, good night. So we have another 40 minutes of charging already. Good morning, by the way. So, and we are at 3.5 volts, approaching pretty much the limit. And that would make it well, let's just test. Okay, let's just test the amperage first. Yeah, it's coming down because we are approaching the limit, so it's 16, but just a minute ago it was still 20. Okay, so this 40 minutes would be roughly about maybe 14 amps. So yesterday we had 168 plus 14 will be 170, 180. It looks like it's right on the target actually. Plus 10%, 180 plus 10% would make it, I don't even know, damn it. Just too early in the morning right now. But let's just check the voltage on the cells. This one is 516. This one is 490, 521, 472. So it seems like the 100 already at the end is the strongest cell, okay, because that one has the lowest voltage. But they are still really well balanced, or really not balanced, matched. So I'm gonna stop charging them because I don't like the charge them all the way to the top or discharge them all the way to the bottom, just to save the lifetime. And I can tell that these are new cells, and I'm gonna actually leave the link to the eBay store and the website of the company, just if somebody is interested to buy these. Other than that, I hope you understood how to check the capacity using the timer and clamp meter. Okay, it's fairly simple. So that's it for today, and later. Okay, and it just occurred to me, maybe it would be a good idea to show how to properly balance them when they are fully charged. Okay, so number one, you can connect all the negative or positive terminals together. Okay, do not connect the other side yet. So all of this side is positive, I mean negative, all of this is positive. Now check the voltage. Okay, 381, 374, 386, 367. So this is lowest, 385, 373, 38. So these are very close. This one is the lowest one. So let's start on this side, and this is how I would do it. Now make sure that all these bolts are tight, because if they are not tight, you will not get the full amps coming through. Okay, so I tighten this one and I get my meter. And I hope you can read this, I'm not sure. But I'm gonna throw the meter on it. Well, number one, I'm gonna check for spark. Okay, there is no spark, so that's good. Now I don't know how the hell to get the meter on properly. Maybe upside down. Okay, now I'm gonna connect this and make sure you have a really good connection. And I'm getting about, well, it's coming down, but it was about 8 amps max. Okay, so that's good. I can just go ahead and connect these together. And 8 amps, it's nothing. Compare what they can handle. Okay. You have to be really careful at this stage when they are fully charged. Okay, but I like to top balance them because I'm gonna keep them at the top. When I put them on the solar. And again, when you do that, touch these terminals, make sure they're not getting hot. Okay, and these. And it seems to be okay, so let's go next one. I'm gonna go on the center one here so I can do both of them together. Again, make sure nice and tidy. Okay. Show you this way. And let's see what we're gonna get. Well, first check for spark. and that's good. Now you get the connection, and here we're getting close to nothing. 1 amp, not even 1 amp maybe. Actually, leave it there, and let's do the other side. Again, check for spark first, and here we're getting 2 amps. Okay, if I get a good contact here, yep, 2 amps was the max. So again, that's really nothing, and that's how it should be. Okay, if you have a good cells, they are not balanced but matched. Damn, man, it's early in the morning, sorry about that. So now I'm just gonna get a couple of these pops, still checking for spark. Doesn't hurt to be too careful. Still checking for sparks. Okay, don't just throw it on and assume it's good. Okay, that's good. Everything is tidy, and immediately check for a heat. Okay. And that seems to be good. So now I'm going to tab balance them, and then I'm going to put them to work, and like I said, I'm going to keep them pretty much fully charged unless I need to use the energy to discharge them. That's how I keep my batteries. I keep them anywhere between, I would say, 13 to 14 volts all the time, unless there is a lot of cloudy days, and then I need the energy to go below 13 volts. But that will really prolong the life, the battery life, if you don't cycle them too low or too high for that matter. Okay, so that's it.